Hey guys, welcome to another episode of the Lunch Table Podcast. We are here for a review of a movie that I'm really excited to talk about that I finally got to watch this weekend. Everything, Everywhere, All at Once, directed by Dan Kwan and Daniel Scheinert, starring Michelle Yeoh. I'm so glad I got to see this movie. It's a wild trip. I must say, if I had to describe it, it's an everything bagel.
Yeah, that's a good one.
Literally. But I really enjoyed it. It's a movie that's been getting some, talk. People have been talking about it for months now. It's really getting some popularity behind it. Akram, give me your thoughts on what you thought about this movie.
Oh, I loved it, and especially from like a small scale team as well. They accomplished so much, and I think that's really inspiring for a lot of people who's trying to get into like these programs where you could just design. I love the whole the semiotics behind this, and just it's one of those films where like it's a once in a lifetime thing. Like, I don't think anyone could replicate it. I don't think they should make a sequel. I think it's gonna stand, and like it has a place in people's hearts for a long time. I feel I think it's important to like film in general. Yeah, that's what I feel.
Yeah, I must say this was very ambitious for an independent movie, but I know A24, they make some awesome cinematography. But yeah, the editing in this movie is really like on point. Like the cuts were clean, like visual effects were awesome to look at. And just like every scene felt different. Like it was almost watching like three movies in one, but it all just came together really nicely. I think the actors were great. Michelle Yeoh, she's a wonderful actress. I think she really nailed it. Stephanie Sho as Joy, I really liked her character a lot. We'll get into her in a little bit. And Ke Huy Quan returning to film once more. Last I remember seeing it was either Indiana Jones or The Goonies. So it's great to see, and he aged really well too.
Yeah,
I must say, but he's great in this movie. But which characters stood out to you?
Oh, for sure. Key and Michelle were amazing, and she's so funny too. This movie is like such a mix of funniness and it's also like really my favorite word, endearing. It's very dramatic too, and it made me feel like to cry honestly at the end. It was such like so many nice moments, and Michelle was like so funny in this. Everybody was like really funny. It's like it makes you feel like bipolar. Like watch this, like you're like everywhere, everything all at once while watching it. It's like, yeah, honestly. And Joy's character, Joy was like really good in this. I don't know what other project she was in before, but I think she'll have a lot more after this. I think this is like a standout role for her. She was really great here. So how about you?
Yeah, I agree. I think like the movie had like a nice balance, and it's so funny because like Michelle Yeoh is like so known for like doing like martial arts like movies where she plays like these badass characters, but here she was very down to earth. I mean, she plays like a Chinese American laundromat owner, just struggling to pay her taxes on time, and then she's kind of like thrust into this multiversal war thing. And then she's also like dealing with a divorce with her husband, and she's got like issues with her daughter, issues with her father, so she's having all these pains like thrust on her at one time. And it talks a lot about like family like issues, like opening up communication, like day-to-day things that we deal with every day. And I thought that was so relatable, like even to the extent that it was like put on, it was like almost like watching like a superhero movie, but it still had issues that we could talk about, like the things that go on in our own family, right? And I love the obviously the Asian American inclusivity in this movie. It was really nice to see some diversity. But I want to know what you thought, like what stood out to you, like what was it more like because it's a very strange film, I must say. It's not like it's and we've seen like other movies do this too, like with Doctor Strange, like dealing with the multiverse, but it's put on like such a pedestal of like, it's promoted kind of like a superhero movie, but it's a very indie story. So I want to know your thoughts like on what you thought, like the narrative and how they directed this movie.
Yeah, well, first of all, I think this is definitely a showcase of editing of itself, and also of course visual effects. But they really wanted like a lot of jump cuts, and I feel like without those jump cuts, it wouldn't be the same film. probably narrative, but it wouldn't be the same film. It just felt so energetic, and in the narrative aspect of it, it was so relatable, and also like again, it brought me to tears, especially at the end, because it talks a lot about family, you know, and no matter what universe you're in, that's still her mother at the end of the day, and that's
Mhm.
still her father, and I thought that was so beautiful. And there was like a scene where they were just like two rocks on a cliff, and I
Oh,
love
that was
that.
such a good scene, I love that. There's, like it's
Yeah.
not even they're talking, it's just, like, there's, like it's basically just, like, text speech, like, it's a
So
whole moment of silence,
yeah.
but that was, like, one of the strongest, like, scenes in that film.
That was wonderful, and it's so, like, inventive. These 2, like, came up with something that you haven't seen before in any film, and so if I were to compare this to Doctor Strange, I would definitely choose this film over Doctor Strange, and I know that they aren't the same thing, but, like, the multiversal aspect, I think this one actually is, like, a lot stronger than Doctor Strange and Multiverse of Madness, and then also Doctor Strange in that movie was dealing with, like, the love, for he has for Christine and other emotions. Here, it's like, it's so grand, but it's centered, so it keeps centering on like family and these emotions, and I think that's really important, and that's why I say like there are a few films that stand out to me like for years to come, like Ex Machina or Annihilation, and now this one, because it's really like a thing that you could study. Like I feel like a lot of students will be able to study this, because
Mhm.
it hits all marks with like editing, narrative, semiotics, that I don't know what films they directed before. I know they wanted to do this since 2010, and originally with Jackie Chan, which is really interesting. But I feel like they couldn't have done this film with Jackie Chan. I felt like Michelle Yeoh was perfect for this role, especially being a woman here, and that relationship between her daughter. But I want to hear more of your thoughts too. I want to hear your more thoughts of just that relationship between her daughter and the husband. Like, what did you think about that whole dynamic? Like, did it strike something to you?
It really, like, hit hard because, like, just, there's so much pressure on her to, like, impress her father, and I think, a lot of, like, Asian Americans can feel that, like, kinda like there's, like, trying to make your parents feel proud in a way, but still trying to be your own person, and I really respected her character, like, she really risked everything, just to be with Wayman, his name is the husband.
Yeah.
Um, so this movie talks a lot about, like, regrets and, like, the question we always ask ourselves is, like, "What if I had done things differently?" Right? Like, what if, like, we like, the little changes in our lives that we don't think about, and that's touched on a lot, like, when she does her verse jumping, she always does these random acts, right? Like, she'll, like like, down, like, a bottle of soda
Oh, that was
or,
funny.
like, slap somebody, right? Just some weird shit, right?
Mm.
But it always triggers, like, a big effect, um, like, jumping through the multiverse and then finding, like, somebody that, and it's so funny too, cause like, Wayman said it too, like, he's like, "This is you're the most important person in the multiverse because you're the one that couldn't achieve anything. So because of that, you have the most potential, right? Because you basically your character spawned all these different questions, like kind of like what if, like if you think about like it's like what if because she has so many disappointments in her life, there's so many what if in her life, so many moments in her life where she could branch off into a different person, right? Like we saw like there like one she was like a martial artist, like actress. There was one where like she was like a chef, so like she achieved like all these dreams, right? So it it really like it kind of brings hope to people who are always like down on themselves about like not fulfilling their dreams because it's like you have the most potential to like start fresh, right? Because you could do whatever you want, right? Um, but yeah, it was really sad, like just like the relationship with her husband, because like you could really feel like he put such a great performance, like not just like and, like, cause he does, like, really good martial arts stunts in this movie, by the way. Like,
Yeah.
that fanny pack scene, I was like, "Holy shit," I wasn't
Oh,
expecting
yeah.
that.
That was a highlight. Yeah, that was wonderful. He
That was
performed
some
well. Yeah.
Bruce Lee shit. I was like, "Whoa," like, he's,
Well,
like,
they said they
smacking
wanted
people.
Jackie Chan originally as well, so I guess he gave him a little bit of Jackie Chan there. Yeah, that
A
was
little bit.
awesome.
He's definitely got, like, that comedic, like, aspect that Jackie
Right.
has too, so I think he fit really well, and it's so great, like, seeing him on screen, like, older now,
Finally. Yeah.
because he's known for, like, his younger roles, but seeing him back in action. Also, we got, James, Hong, I think, returning as, Evelyn's father, so I thought that was really cool. He's, like, 90 now, right?
Yeah, still acting. Yeah. Yeah, he's phenomenal here.
And Jamie Lee Curtis also we got she's like I forgot her name, but she's the IRS auditor. I
I
thought she was
didn't.
really funny.
I didn't expect her to be here. Yeah, she was so good here as well.
I thought she was funny like when she was like the pro wrestler and she she does like all these random moves.
I know it's just so energetic and so funny. Everyone brung there, like everyone was like so like passionate about this
Mhm.
film. Like that's what I appreciated from it.
There's so much diversity of character in this movie, and I really like that. Because it really is about like her and all her different past and future selves, like what she could have been and what she wants to be coming together. But tell me what you thought of like the daughter. So the daughter is actually the villain of this movie, and I think that it speaks a lot about like how raising our children the right way or the wrong way can spawn how they grow up to be in the future. So she becomes like the biggest threat in the multiverse, basically, and it's so funny that her daughter of all people is like the biggest threat to the
Yeah.
universe. So tell me what you thought of like her relationship with her daughter.
Well, one thing I think is that obviously she was like thrown into the situation like of discovering the multiverse, but another thing is like a lot of parents too, they don't realize like any harm they're doing to their children. So not only was she thrown into the situation where like there's a multiverse, but she was also thrown into the situation that her daughter is really hurting so much so that she's willing to destroy the universe.
And
And
she's hurting
also
in every universe too,
in
right?
every universe, right?
Yeah.
And there's such a depression that she basically wants to commit suicide, but like in a kamikaze way, I guess, like just to destroy all the other
Take everybody
universes.
out. Yeah.
So I thought that it was really like close to home and it was really beautiful. And I think a lot of people could relate to this too. Like, don't give up, basically. No matter the odds, don't give up. No matter how you feel, because obviously Michelle Yeoh's character, apparently she wasn't good at anything, and look, now she has her inspiration. She can have different possibilities, right, that she could unlock. And so I feel like with her daughter, she unlocked all the possibilities, yet she still wanted to die, basically. So don't give up. I think that no matter where she kind of like had her fill of like herself and like different universes and skills and stuff, I feel like she never felt whole. And so that end scene too, made me feel very like enlightened as well, like make me
Hmm.
look back, and really appreciate what I have. And also it's like the simplest things that can make you feel whole and bring you back from the edge. And so I really
Hmm.
appreciate it. There were so many important messages in this film, and I feel like Joyce, that she did such a great job in this movie as well. Like again, I think that's going to be like a notable highlight of her career, and it'll probably kickstart her career to new
Hmm.
levels, especially Key's career as well. He'll probably get back on track, more
I know.
roles.
I kind of want to see him in other projects now, just because he's so good. And I
So
think he
good.
said too, like he came back after he saw the success of Crazy Rich Asians. So I think
Hmm.
that's what inspired him to come back to film. And I'm so glad he did because he gave like a wonderful performance in this movie. I hope he gets like an Oscar nomination or something. But
Yes.
I love that they were able to pull off so it's like kind of like Moon Knight in a way. Like they played their characters so well, and then they played other versions of themselves so well. Like his like there's like he plays like one like Wayman like the in their universe, like he just speaks like all Chinese, and then he speaks like perfect English, like when he's in the multiverse or something.
I
And then
know.
he's like a scientist, and it's like you could really feel like these are different characters and not just like him just like copying, like something like out of a script or something.
Oh yeah, for sure. And my favorite one, honestly, and again, it's another thing. Is like, um, sometimes love really like can reach across the multiverse, and so like they find each other like later on, especially the one where Michelle Yeoh is like a famous like movie actress, right? And so, which is kind of sad too, to think like, if they hadn't like moved to America with each other, they both would be successful, but yet they still found each other later on. And so he was just like, Michelle Yeoh, she did an interview and she was saying that Key's like acting advice was he was supposed to be like a squirrel, a fox, which was the business guy, and like a scientist or a badass or something like that. And so he played the fox so well. And so I like that, again, no matter the odds, they still found a way, to reach each other. And I thought that was really beautiful, especially Joy,
Hmm.
later on at the end, at least. And again, as rocks, which is really cool. Yeah.
One of the biggest lines I thought was really like hit hard for me was like when he's that universe where she's a celebrity, and then like they meet up again. They're not married, so they never had joy in this universe. But they're like talking about like what could have been, and he's like, well, I even though we're we're we were better off not marrying each other, I still would have enjoyed doing laundry and taxes with you. And I think that really hit hard, honestly. That's why I loved his character. I felt so sad when like, he wanted to sign the divorce papers and like she just signed it because like, you really feel for his character. Like he just wants to love her and like give her everything, but like she's so like I think like not unappreciative, but she's so stuck in like the present that she
Mhm.
can't think of like other things like beyond just like work and like taxes and stuff. Um but yeah, I love the ending like she has to like she talks about like how she's a fighter. She's always been a fighter, right? She's always been like a strong independent person, but she always looks down on her husband because like she always sees him as like weak. She's like I wonder like how your father would have survived without me, right? But in a way he's his own fighter, right? He supports her in ways she doesn't even think about, like the way he like he talks with the IRS agent
Mhm.
like to get them an extension on their taxes or whatever. But like so he in his own way he's like a diplomat. He's like he doesn't need to be aggressive, right? And then she realizes that at the end and she's like, I'm gonna fight your way. I'm gonna use love, right, to make all these different people like have a different outcome, right? So I thought that was really nice towards the end. I,
Phenomenal.
I think the action and the story really like combined really nicely. I
Oh.
like I like seeing like the different characters, like what they were like to like not just like the main cast, but like like Jamie Lee Curtis character and like with the one guy with the with the was
Oh,
it Ratatouille
Raccoonity, something like that.
Ratatouille?
Yeah,
That
that was
was
so
so
funny.
stupid.
Well, that's the thing. It's so silly, but like at the end of the day, like they make it so dramatic too, where like you feel like to tear up.
It's so funny because like the action and the comedy like work so hand in hand together.
Yeah.
Like obviously we gotta talk about the one scene where she's fighting the guy and then the butt plugs are there.
Oh
That's like
no.
that will go down in history. One of my favorite scenes in any movie.
That was so good. I love that they were like really trying hard to sit on something. That was so good. That
But it
was
was
so
such
good.
like a Rush Hour or like a like style like that kind of kung fu where like they're
Exactly.
they're just trying to fight each other, but as also like comedic in a way.
Yeah, the choreography was so great for that as well. Like I just loved it. I really loved it. I feel like you couldn't have done it like
Mhm.
better with any other team than this one. They did such a great job at
Even the
this.
costuming, like for
Oh
Stephanie,
yeah,
was like really on point. I was like, damn, she got like how much? I wonder how much went into like the costuming budget just for her outfits alone.
Joy. It was like Lady Gaga mixed with like this and that. Yeah,
Or
it
Cher, or
was.
like
Yeah, it was so much. What did you think about the I wanted to ask you, which was funny at first when I thought about it, but apparently it has some real world ties to scientists thinking that the universe is actually shaped like a bagel. What did you think about that whole thing? Like that was one of my most favorite like effects was like that little black hole thing. I was so scared at the end of that in that fight scene like
Mhm.
near that thing. So what did you think about that whole encounter, like that fight scene and with the little bagel thing?
I thought that bagel was like a hilarious metaphor.
Yeah.
Like, cause like when Key's like when they're hiding and he grabs a bagel and starts eating it, like, oh, we don't have milk in our universe.
Oh yeah, that was like that's sad. I
And
can't live without
like
milk.
no wonder he's stressed out.
That's the most tragic thing.
But I think that was a great metaphor, honestly. Like every decision, everything that we do is basically like a poppy seed, right? In this grand scale
Oh.
of the universe and the multiverse. Um, and then that final scene, I think when like they're trying to fight each other, but it's not really fighting because Evelyn wants to save Joy, right? Because at the end she realizes like I don't want to be like my father. I don't want to push you away, right? I want you're my daughter, right? Like she even says like you're not was it Jobu Tabaki, whatever her name was.
That was
Like
funny too, yeah.
you're my daughter at the end of it. And I thought that was really like you say, like endearing, like the way that, she's trying to express that. And she's even willing to admit like, things that she doesn't agree with, like her sexual orientation or like the way that she is, like with her tattoos and stuff. Cause that's like a big deal with like a lot of people like our age could like attest to like, generations always like have find faults in our society, but she was willing to be so open about it and even like defend her, from her grandfather. So I think that was like a really nice scene, and like she even like tries to comfort Jamie Lee Curtis's character, because like she kind of empathizes with her in a bit, because like she went through a divorce herself. So I really love the small moments of this scene. I think, or of this movie. I think like they really work well for character development. But any other thoughts that you had seeing for this movie?
I think just like you said, small moments like that. The people who worked on this film, like if it was like something huge like Marvel, I don't think it'll be done the same, because you have a different type of mentality when you're making a film. And so you have a smaller crew, you have like different decisions, especially about the story wise. So I feel like everything came together perfectly. That's why I feel like it's a once in a lifetime movie. Like if they, I think they'll tarnish like the first one and they do like another one, because it kind of defeats the purpose. Like I honestly really enjoyed this film a lot. I honestly would rate it a 10 out of 10. Like hands down. I think it was like a pleasant surprise, you know.
Mhm.
That's my thoughts, honestly.
I honestly, I would rate it the same, a 10 out of 10. I think it was a great film to watch, and for people that are like not into like independent films, I would say like definitely give it a watch. Like there's so many great moments in it. You'll laugh. You'll see like, oh wow, like during the movie, it's like it's not like your typical like you said, like Marvel movie, or like superhero film, but it does have great moments, and it has great uh themes that you can really like think about like when you leave the film. Like that's what I was like, that's what's for me separates a movie from a film, is when I can leave the theater and think about like something that somebody said, or like just like a topic that they touched on, and it's like, oh well, you know what, yeah, that's so true what they said, right? So I agree wholeheartedly. I think this film was awesome. Definitely check it out, guys, if you haven't. It's I love to do like small independent movie reviews like this. I feel like we're so caught up sometimes in the mainstream that we forget like these smaller projects really hit hard sometimes. But uh, thank you guys so much if you made it this far to the video. We always appreciate you guys for your patronage. We got a lot more content coming out, of course. We got The Boys season 3 coming out this week. We also have Obi-Wan Kenobi on Friday, so keep an eye out for that. And we have a lot more episodes coming out on the way. Jurassic World, Miss Marvel,
Game
of
Awards,
course,
yeah, Miss Marvel,
and Summer Game Fest, of course. So definitely keep an eye out if you haven't already followed us. You can follow us on Apple Podcasts, Spotify, YouTube. We also have a TikTok page. We can link in the description, so you can check out clips from our episodes, and of course our Instagram page. We always update you guys for news and reviews and stuff. So thank you guys so much, and until then, thank you for having lunch with us.
see you guys.